I have an idea, but you won't like it. Welcome to the St. Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Stan Lund, and with me once again is...
Tiffany Silverbraun.
Welcome back, Tiff. It has been quite a long while, hasn't
it? Yeah, it definitely has.
Yeah, I believe the last time we had an episode come out, it was about a month ago.
Yeah, I think it's our
lot has happened.
Yep.
So, first off, what have you been up to this past month?
Well, it's been my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
We just end up doing?
Yeah, I'm into going to different tiki bars. So we just did a little tiki bar adventure and had dinner, and then my friend's band, Adult Toys, I'll name drop them. They came into town and they stayed over, and I got to hang out with some old friends. So,
well, that's good. Did you get any really cool gifts?
Yeah, I got a bunch of new. I typically don't like going clothes shopping at all, and so I got some new fun clothes, which is cool because I really hate going clothes shopping. And then I got 1 through 6 of the Batman '89 series, which I really wanted. I somehow missed the first 2 issues when they came out, and I was kind of upset about that. So I got the first 6 of those.
Sweet. That is a pretty good comic series.
Yeah, I heard good things.
Did you know they're actually doing a sequel to that series?
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I just heard about it this past week. So they're doing a sequel series to that and a sequel series to Superman 68 or the 78. I mean.
Nice. Yeah, I read the Batman 66 ones were pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I got a box of, so I collect swizzle sticks. And I got a box of vintage swizzle sticks, which was awesome. I know that's
neat. Yeah, I think I either have or had a swizzle stick in my collection at one point. I think it had a 7 on it. I think it was given out for free in a book or a magazine of some sort, but I don't remember.
Might have been Seagram 7. There's a bunch of those with a 7 on top.
Yeah. Anything else big happened for you this past month?
That's pretty much it, I think.
All right. What?
And just typical hanging out.
Yeah. My past month has been more or less all right, aside from one experience I'd rather not have to repeat in my life, that my apartment building actually got struck by lightning.
Whoa!
Yeah. It actually did some damage. I was actually sitting at my computer at the time, and I heard a pop and things shut off and came back on. And afterwards, I found that my computer would no longer, I used to have my computer, coupled to the TV via a HDMI cable. That no longer seemed to work. My HDMI switcher seemed to be fried.
Wow.
And the HDMI port, one of the two on my television, is now not working correctly. If I plug my game system into it, it shows the picture, but it's really small and distorted. And if I plug in my television, my cable box into it, I get no sound out of it.
That's awful.
And it also blew out the hallway light that I have, in my entrance. So, yeah, not good. I actually have a really good friend who's probably listening right now who who's getting me a couple surge protectors and a HDMI switcher, and he already got me a brand new HDMI cable, so I'm able to connect my computer back to my TV again. Because luckily it was just the cord that fried, not the HDMI port on the computer. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've just been keeping myself relatively busy, collecting and whatnot. I recently redid my entire Disney afternoon shelf, so I've got a little more room to display things.
Nice. I forgot about one more thing because it has been a long time since we've been on here. I went to Tiki Oasis,
Oh, cool.
which is super fun in San Diego.
Yeah.
That was at the beginning of the month. It's a big, like, mid-century style, like, it's a convention. They have parties. They have, like, all different, like, tiki bars bring their drinks and stuff and have little parties in all the rooms. And they have, like,
Yeah.
speakers. There's a lot of, like, Disney crossover where they have little Disney symposiums about, like, tiki and stuff. And the theme, they have a different theme each year. And maybe I'll spoil what my costume is going to be next year, but they have it was a under the sea this last one.
Yeah.
So they have costume contests, and this is the first year I participate in it. But whenever I do, I usually win, and you get this giant trophy that I put on my mantle.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah. And the next year the theme is going to be Western. Actually, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil what my costume is going to be, but I will say it's Disney related.
All right.
If
Could
anyone
it be
put that
maybe
together.
well, I look forward to seeing or hearing what it is.
All right.
A couple Darkwing items have been either released or will be released soon. For one thing, the Darkwing Duck gallery statue, I think it is, the Diamond Select one, it apparently has been showing up for sale in certain markets, particularly Amazon, I believe, had it, was shipping it, and possibly Big Bad Toy Store. Unfortunately, Entertainment Earth, the place I have mine pre ordered from, they're claiming now it's not coming till October. So, yay.
No, that sucks.
Honestly, at this point, even though I'm saving some money getting it through them, I might see if it's still up for grabs on Amazon, because I actually have a friend who has Amazon Prime and thus would get free shipping. So maybe I'll have him order it so I can get it, and I'll just cancel the Entertainment Earth one. Another thing that came out recently was a dancing Darkwing Duck pin.
Oh yeah.
I believe that's available at the Disney parks, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And a third item, and this hasn't been released yet since it's a New York Comic Con exclusive, but I guess we're getting yet another Darkwing Duck Funko Pop. So I don't, I'm not obviously going to New York Comic Con, so I'm going to have to rely on somebody out there to retrieve one for me, because I have pretty much. What?
Maybe Will's going.
Possibly, but I doubt it. I have I don't have a beat on particularly a person that's going, but I know somebody who has somebody going there, and hopefully he'll have him pick one up for me too, and I can reimburse him. You know who you are, Mr. Jonathan. Speaking of comic books and whatnot, we have some sad news to report, but it's not Darkwing related. But in the past month, we've had three major celebrities pass away. I mean, technically more than that, because I know the wrestling world got hit with a couple celebrity deaths too. But I guess we'll start with the one that happened shortly after our last episode, and that would be Paul Rubens.
Yeah, that one really, really hurt me. I was like
Yeah.
major Pee Wee fan and just Paul Rubens fan in general.
What was your favorite role or memory of him?
I mean, I think my absolute favorite would have to be Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I love that movie, and
Yeah.
that got me started on all of the like three things like Paul Rubens and Tim Burton and Danny Elfman, who are all like my favorite, and that it just came from that. So
Yeah, I'd never really watched Pee Wee, Herman, or really any of his movies. I can't say I've not seen anything of them. I've seen the Large Marge scene, which I think is from Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
yep.
I mean, any self-professed fan of horror has to see that scene.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say this news would have hit a lot harder if Paul Rubens had gotten one of the roles that he was originally in mind for. Because back when Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman were creating and Harold Ramis, I guess Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd are the two that need to be credited. I mean, Ivan directed it, but Harold and Dan wrote it. But when they wrote Ghostbusters, they had Paul Rubens in mind to play Gozer the Gozerian.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I do wonder how the movie would have been if it had been made as envisioned.
I mean, he was awesome as the vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah. So then we fast forward to earlier this week, we lost Bob Barker. Now, most of you will either remember him best as being the host of The Price is Right, the game show for the longest time, or his cameo appearance in the Adam Sandler movie Happy Gilmore, where a very funny but very off color, so we're not going to repeat it here, line is said. But that one, kind of shook the world. And unfortunately, the exact same day later in the day, we lost someone that hits me a bit harder, and that
Me
was
too.
Arlene Sorkin.
Yeah.
She's best
Awful.
known for being Harley Quinn. She was the original voice of Harley Quinn from Batman the Animated Series, and which
Not
is where the character Harley Quinn first came from.
Yeah, not just the voice actor though. She was the direct inspiration from she used to be on Days of Our Lives, and there's an episode that's a dream sequence which you should look it up if you haven't seen it, where she's like a jester and she comes out and she's like ba 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 ba, and like the voice is totally Harley's voice, and you could see like, oh yeah, this is where that character came from. And
I didn't know that. I will have to check that out.
yeah, it's pretty fun. And then I guess she was only supposed to be in that one episode, which I think is Joker's Favor. And but then I guess she just got such positive feedback and they thought she was so great that they kept her on the show after that first episode.
Yeah. She's definitely gone down in history as one of the best, known Batman characters. Like I'd say
Yeah.
she probably ranks either third or fourth behind Batman and the Joker, and either right above Robin or right behind Robin.
Yeah, I'm a huge Harley fan ever since back in the day. I did a few posts about it. When I was dressing up as her since 1992 when like that came out, and I like made a little costume of my own when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and over the years like improved it and worn it to like conventions and Halloween and just little events here and there, and I did a little slideshow of some of the times I dressed as her, and I have a shelf that's all Harley stuff, but it's for me it's always her version of Harley. I don't really have anything from like the movies or Margot Robbie's version or Suicide Squad or even the new like the New 52 version of her, I don't really have stuff of. It's all classic Bruce Timm, Arlene Sorkin Harley.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of Harley merch. Like most, I do have a little bit though. I have this pretty cool bust bank of the '92 animated Harley Quinn. I think I have an action figure of her somewhere. I have a little Lego figure. Of course, I have a facsimile version of Batman Adventures number 12, which is the first
I
comic book appearance of Harley Quinn after her animated debut.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't have that comic, but I have the whole run of her first actual comic run, and I
Yeah,
can buy, like, even when like sometimes you don't have as much money and you can't just be an extreme Wednesday warrior, but like I've always consistently bought like the Harley titles.
yeah. I don't have a lot of the Harley comics. I have like a couple scattered issues of her stuff though. I think I have like the old lady Harley
Oh
miniseries, which
yeah.
is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Now, I really wish that she had an equivalent in Darkwing Duck. Like the closest we can count is Quackerjack, and I'd say he's molded more on like the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs his own Harley.
So I still feel that we probably would have gotten it if Silvani and Sparrow had been allowed to continue their vision of Darkwing. I still think that Claire eventually would have became like the Harley Quinn to Quackerjack's Joker.
Yep. Totally. I did do
Uh,
a matchup of Harley and Quackerjack on my fan art page.
yeah. We have a comic to review today, don't we?
Yep.
So this one is issue 8 of uh, Dynamite's Darkwing Duck. Still no title. I'm honestly a little sick of it, but it's
Yeah.
par for the course at this point, I guess. Once again, Amanda Dybert did the writing and Carlo Loro did the art. There were some okay covers for this one.
Yeah.
Like I was able to get cover E, which has Gizmoduck with the bird near him and Goslin LP and Darkwing in the background. I also ordered the
That,
action figure one, which is Neptunia, but I really want to get cover F as well. That's the one of Darkwing standing with the lightning behind him, like the Batman animated series
oh
opening.
yeah. Yeah.
What cover did you get?
I only got cover A, but the one that I wanted was cover D.
Yeah, if they had cover D where I bought my comic, my physical copy from, I probably would have grabbed that instead because Trish Forstner's art is always on point.
Yeah, so that one it's like a blizzard, and it's got Gizmoduck screaming and Darkwing's like riding on his shoulders, covering.
Holding his hands over his eyes. Yeah, they had cover C where I got my comic, but I just didn't like how Morgana's face looked.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Just a little bit.
Yeah. So how do we start this comic?
So we got the Thunderquack flying in, and you hear Darkwing, "Never fear, Launchpad, we'll beat Neptunia." And Goslin, "Dad, sorry, Goslin, I meant we'll find your missing compass." So this is coming in directly from the last issue where they were in the museum and Launchpad's compass got stolen.
Yeah.
Um,
He says that all they have to do is keep heading north. How do you know the thief is heading north? In my days as Darkwing Duck Defender, sir, defender of the defenseless, I've learned how to make certain calculations with superhero math. Plus, the thief dropped this. And Launchpad, who is making a very strange face, is holding a little thing that says North Pole or Bust. Why are Launchpad's eyes yellow?
I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Um,
So Darkwing, thanks Launchpad and asks if they're almost there, but it appears LP has gotten a little turned around, and instead of finding a harsh, inhospitable snowy climate. He seems to have found a lush tropical island with waterfall and vegetation all around,
Yep.
and a beachside resort. And Goslin makes a great point here. If you can't navigate without your compass, why did you donate it to the museum?
Yeah,
Why
and
did you donate it?
Launchpad says it was just on loan. It was supposed to be just for the opening of the sidekick exhibit.
Yeah, they got a letter asking him to lend it for the grand opening. Probably a letter sent to him by the person that intended to steal it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Darkwing, what?
No, I was gonna say, so they decide to stop and see if maybe they can get a compass on the island.
Yep. This is the third time we pass this island. Either someone needs to find a new compass, or I'm going on vacation. And then you see Darkwing drinking out of the coconut with a luau. Is that what it's called? The thing around his neck, a luau, or am I
A lei.
getting a lei? Okay, I thought it began with an L. I just couldn't remember. And he's saying, "You win some, you lose some," as he walks toward our obligatory Pirate Steven cameo of the issue.
Yeah, that's like the biggest cameo I think so far.
Yeah, though Pirate Steven looks either unimpressed to be there or unimpressed with Darkwing. And I don't think he can be unimpressed with Darkwing, so he has to be unimpressed to be there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Darkwing asks Jocelyn if they found a new compass, and they do have some, but every time Jocelyn tries to get Launchpad to buy one, he starts crying. And we have a bunch of little references at this shop, don't we?
Yeah. It looks like there's a Donald Duck hat and I think the nephew's hat, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. But then there's an extra one that's yellow.
Wasn't there some comics where they had yellow hats, though? I feel like I remember that.
Best had all three had yellow.
I think so. There's also some sunglasses there, and I'm almost positive the yellow, or not yellow, the pink pair of sunglasses was worn by Daisy Duck. I'm not entirely sure about the other one, so.
So, yeah, Darkwing pulls out a "I'm the Terror that flaps in the night." Do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. I should also mention that we get our first of quite a few bad sound effect word bubbles. They're back, unfortunately. So Darkwing gets into an I am the terror. I am the terror who flaps in the night. I am the grains of sand that relentlessly creep into the unreachable crevasses of the bathing suit valve of villainy. I am Darkwing Duck, and I am here to purchase one overpriced souvenir compass. So they got a new compass, but unfortunately, Launchpad says he can't, he can't use it. I'm sorry, DW, I just can't do it. You'll have to find a new pilot. Somebody's happy to hear this, aren't they?
Yeah, Goslin. I could. Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
And
Darkwing
the
says,
expression on Launchpad's face of like sadness and then Goslin's super happy I could is pretty amazing.
yeah. And then Darkwing explains to Launchpad, I'd pilot myself, but I need to keep my laser sharp mind focused on the task at hand, finding the compass before Neptunia does. And Gosalyn has an idea, but Darkwing won't like it. And the next panel, I love at the bottom, you see Darkwing very unhappy, saying, don't like it. What does he not like? Or rather, should I say, who does he not like?
Goslin called Gizmoduck. And
Yep, I guess Darkwing's regretting giving her that cell phone now, ain't he?
yep. He comes flying in with his helicopter hat.
Yep. Never fear, Gizmoduck is here. Hello there, Wingy. I hear you're in need of my assistance. Wingy?
But that's a little weird because he's called him Wingy several times before.
True.
And yeah, of course, they're not getting along instantly.
Nope. In need of is a bit strong, but I am in the market for I think I could allow you to be my, and they both say the word sidekick at the same time.
Yep. And then, no, you would be my sidekick.
Again said at the same time.
Yeah.
Question for you. What is going on with Gizmoduck's arms when they first say the word sidekick? 'Cause
I don't
his
know.
arms look like they're making like the shape of Gizmoduck's R.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I kept staring at that, wondering what was happening.
Well, at least I'm not the only one kind of, thrown off by it. But yeah, Gizmoduck says he's no one's sidekick, and Darkwing says that he's no one's sidekick. And Goslin, once again, has to be the voice of reason. Guys, Launchpad is still here. No one has to be a sidekick. It's just a superhero team up. Let's just focus on finding that compass. And
Yep.
am I the only one that expected that Gizmoduck was going to fly them, like with them holding on to him?
Yeah, I was expecting that too.
Yeah, but instead, Gizmoduck is actually flying the Thunderclap.
Yeah, which is a little weird to see.
Yeah, and Launchpad, of course, is still moping in the back.
Yep. Goslin thinks they make a great team. um, and Darkwing says the real hero will be the one who finds the hideout. Agreed, says Gizmoduck. But then
And oh, sorry.
maybe we can ask whoever's in that big giant ice maze, and Launchpad
Yeah,
being the one that finds this huge ice fortress, which looks
I
pretty
guess
cool.
that makes him the real hero, huh?
Yep. And
I
yeah,
also have to point out Goslin's face when Darkwing and Gizmoduck are saying whoever finds it'll be the real hero, because her face, she is just done with this.
yeah, yeah. Yep. So we get another
What?
panel that I don't know. I think that's a little awkward where it's like in the Thunderquack, it has like a word bubble with like Goslin's face. And then it says only one way to find out, which I feel like usually the way they do that is they have a square and it'll be like colored or shaped in a way that you can tell who's talking. I've never
Right.
really seen it done this way.
Yeah, that is a little odd. Also, I'm going to guess a hypothesis right now because we are seeing that this place is all about ice and cold. I'm calling it now. Isis Vanderchill.
Mike will be so happy.
I mean, obviously she don't appear in this issue, but that's what I'm going with that this is going to belong to.
Yeah, that would be cool. Awesome. That would be cool.
Yeah. Also, I have to say, did the Thunder am I tripping or did the Thunderquack ever have its wings fold up like that before?
I don't know. It
Because
doesn't.
part of me feels like I've never seen that before, but another part of me feels like I have.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's possible. It didn't come off that weird to me, but now that you mention it, I'm not sure.
I know that the thrusters on the back I think are incorrect because I'm pretty sure the Thunderquack has like just one
Yeah,
big thruster.
yeah, it's definitely just one.
So they're standing in front of the gates of this ice maze, and Darkwing is saying, "This certainly seems like a likely local for a law-breaking lair." Gizmoduck says, "I couldn't have said it better myself." No, you couldn't.
And yeah, so it again reminds me of the robot planet in Futurama.
Yeah. So they start to enter in and they get ambushed by something, don't they?
Yep.
What do they get ambushed by?
It's like a duck abominable snowman, which I actually love. The design of the character is very like classic, like Disney duck style character.
Yeah, the abominable snow duck, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Though I will say his design also gives me you ever see those old cartoons where I I think it was like a dog character, but like he gets a hold of Bugs Bunny and he's like, I will hug him and squeeze
Oh
him
yeah.
and cherish him and call him George.
Yeah. Those are like super old Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Doesn't the design of this abominable guy remind you of him?
Yeah, totally.
But we get our second bad sound effect thanks to this guy as he cracks one of the walls down with a boom crack, which buries Gosalyn in a snowy avalanche.
Yep. And they go running
And,
after. Darkwing gets punched by the abominable snow duck. Says, "Wow, that
yeah.
thing packs a punch." Gizmoduck tries.
Never fear, Gizmoduck is here. But he gets blown away as the thing breathes like cold air at him.
Yep. Um, Darkwing Duck digs himself out with it's like a shovel attachment to the gas gun.
Yeah,
And
I've never seen that before.
yeah, when he emerges, he can't find anybody. He's alone.
No,
He's
Gosalyn?
Lynn.
Gosalyn! Lynn! But we do get another Eye in the Terror.
Yeah.
I am the terror that flops in the night. I am the slippery piece of ice that trips you down the stairs of justice. I am Darkwing Duck, and I am very good at building things. What does he build?
He makes snowshoes out of some twigs growing out of the snow. And he has like a crazy knife attachment now on the gas gun.
Yeah, on the scope.
Yeah, it pops out of the scope.
So Darkwing tracks down the abominable snow duck again and faces off against him with a third bad sound effect. He kicks him in the face with a bomber crack that also breaks his snowshoe.
Yeah.
The weird thing, he only kicks him with one foot, but if you look at the remaining images of Darkwing after, both snowshoes are now gone.
Yep. And he gets knocked out. And he says, "Well, that was easy." And he still doesn't know where anyone is. And then we get a big splash page, which I actually really like, of the fallen abominable snow duck and Darkwing scurrying around yelling for Gosalyn, Launchpad, and Gizmoduck.
Yep. Now, I will say, if I'd been them, I would have hidden an Easter egg in this maze.
Yeah, totally.
But Darkwing, he hasn't found Gosalyn or Launchpad yet, but he does find someone, doesn't he?
Yep. He finds Gizmoduck, who's blow torching away the ice to get to Darkwing.
Yep, with a giant gafwoosh. Me, meaning Gizmoduck, here to rescue you. For the record, you did not rescue me. I had my own torch all along. I was just waiting for an opportune moment.
And his says Duff whoosh.
Yeah, that it does. Gafwoosh for Gizmoduck, Dafwoosh for Darkwing Duck. Okay, I'm counting those both as stupid sound effect bubbles. Like, until you point that out, they were perfectly fine, but they had to put a G for Gizmoduck and a D for Darkwing. That's dumb.
Yeah, so they both go running through the ice with their blowtorches
Yeah.
to Gosalyn.
who they finally can hear yelling for them.
Yep. And they find her, and she's surrounded by 3 giant polar bears.
Yeah, but before we get there, I do love this little dialogue exchange. I hope you rest. What? I said find Goslin or bust. But yeah, Goslin is surrounded by 3 polar bears, and they're all wearing hats. One's wearing what appears to be like a Dalmatian patterned bowler hat. A second one has what I would describe as like one of those floppy fisherman hats. And the third one, since this is a bear character, it looks to me like this is a reference to the character Tony Chopper from the anime One Piece, because that is his style of hat, complete with the color and the X on it.
Yep.
So what do they do now?
Gizmoduck has like a tennis racket sort of thing that pops out of his chest, and Goslin starts yelling at them because she doesn't want them to hurt the polar bears.
They're a vulnerable species. More vulnerable than you right now?
And
So,
Darkwing says, "Fine, I'll improvise." He finds a hole in the ice with water, takes a net out of Gizmoduck's chest, and starts ice fishing. Catches a bunch of fish, feeds them to the polar bears, who are now distracted.
yeah, great plan, Dad. My cunning cranial capabilities are canonically colossal. But the question on everybody's mind is,
Where's Launchpad?
unfortunately, Gizmoduck may have solved the mystery of who created that convenient fishing hole, because they find Launchpad's scarf in the fishing hole.
Yep.
I can't imagine he'd want to go fishing at a time like this. So it appears that Launchpad has been duck-napped, and Goslin sticks her head into the water and yells for Neptunia, which, how do you scream underwater?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if anyone could hear it, it would be Neptunia.
Fair enough. So Darkwing asks why they're calling for her, and she's like, well, who's a better person to call when someone is kidnapped underwater? Of course, Darkwing says, we don't need her help. I agree. You already have my help. And Darkwing, his expression is like, do not tempt me, Gizmoduck.
Yeah. That expression's pretty great. And that Goslin being pulled out of the water is really adorable.
Yeah. So we wrap this up with Darkwing saying, first of all, we have more help than I want as it is. Secondly, Neptunia and I are having a perfectly healthy and normal competition while our friend's life is at stake. And most importantly, I have a better idea about how to track Launchpad. And at the bottom, we get a to be continued.
Yep.
That's the comic. So, what do you think?
I thought it was a little fillery.
Yeah.
But that happens a lot of times in arcs. When you read them in trades, they don't come off like quite as much that way, but issue by issue felt a little fillery.
All right. Was there any major missteps in your opinion, or?
There wasn't any like awful offenses. I think the art still is like getting better. It's like nice to see it just, take shape as the series goes along. And yeah, I mean, I love that the concept of the ice fortress and stuff is pretty cool. I definitely like that. I just wish there was a little bit more happening in it.
As do I. So, what rating would you give it?
Out of 5 canisters, I would give it a 2.5.
All right. So,
right down the middle.
Yeah. So, I thought this one was very mid. I thought that it did feel a little fillery, as you said. We didn't really get any answers as to why the person took Launchpad's compass, or even who took Launchpad for that matter. I will say the inclusion of Gizmoduck, although, maybe not needed, felt pretty good. I feel that they did get the banter between them pretty well done. There were some pretty ingenious moments. Couple missteps though along the way. For one thing, they didn't really resolve much. Also, I don't. I feel like they misstepped a little by having too many of the bad sound effect bubbles.
Yeah.
Couple of other missed opportunities. All in all, I think I'd give this one a 3. Slightly more than you, but not by much. We don't really have a villain to rate because even though they had to fight the abominable snow duck and the 3 bears, they weren't really villains per se. At least they don't seem to have been villains.
They'd come off as henchmen of someone else.
Right. They more or less just seem like things that may have already existed up there. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's my score for it. Solid 3.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that this coming month in September we will more than likely have 2 Dynamite Darkwing comics to review.
Yeah.
Since we'll have issue 9 of this and we'll have issue 1 of Negaduck.
Yay.
Any other thoughts?
I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, we are the Stan and Canard Files, the Darkwing Duck podcast. You can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube. As for shout outs, I do have one big one I want to give, and that's to my friend Carter Westland up in Alaska. He actually surprised me, stopped by, totally surprised me for a visit this past week on Thursday. It was great seeing him catching up, and actually found out he listens to the St. Canard Files.
Nice.
He also grew up watching Darkwing Duck in the 90s, so he does have interest in Darkwing as well, though he has admitted he more or less listens to this just to hear my voice. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, Carter, and like I said, it was great seeing you again. Tiff, do you have any shout outs?
No real shout outs, but yeah, that's it.
All right, and
that's it.
So I guess that wraps up this episode. Until next time, stay dangerous, and I've got to go see my comic man about getting the next 2 issues fast-tracked.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.